This is an old, I believe, 1955 500 Royal Enfield Bullet engine crankshaft, which I think may have come from an Indian Westerner derivative. But anyway, it's the same as the basic Bullet crank assembly of that size for that year. And this has been a bit of an interesting one. It was brought to me still in its drive side crankcase, where a previous attempt to remove it from the crankcase had failed. And would you believe, I've seen it before actually, it's hard to believe, but even with the drive side crankcase half supported on a bench so that the flywheel assembly is facing down from it, I've seen it happen and I've experienced it myself, and it happened here for the guy who owns this one. He started trying to drive the main shaft out through the drive side main bearings, only to find that even with the crank facing downwards, that the main shaft moved inwards through the flywheel and trapped the conrod. So it was brought here to see what I could do with it, and he wanted to split the crank to sort of clean it up and see what sort of state the big end's in and so on. It was brought here for me to split. Well, I tried splitting it and I couldn't get a decent sort of angle in the fly press until I got the conrod free. So what I did is I put a suitable selection of spacers on the main shaft, fitted the nut and tightened it up, and I managed to pull the main shaft back through the flywheel and free off the conrod again. So that's sorted, but I'm going to split it. But I just thought before I do, I'll just record any run out there might be and see what it's like. And both of these gauges reading in thousandths of an inch. And if we start spinning, we can see on the timing side journal we've got 1/1000th of an inch run out there. On the drive side we've got 1.5 thousandths of an inch. The needles are rising and falling together, so in real terms there's half a thou run out there. That's really good. I'll be doing well if I can get it down to a figure like that if and when I put it back together. But the next thing to do now is split it and see what lies in store with the big end. And from recent experiences, I've got to say, if I find that that big end has got a floating bush in there and it's in good condition, if it was my crank I'd be tempted to stick with it because I've heard of a couple of failures lately that are rather disturbing, and two engines that I've built and been involved with have both had big ends go within 50 miles, and I really don't think it's down to anything that I've done, but I've got to wonder where some of these floating bushes for the big ends are coming from and what they're made of. So if this one's in good shape, the chances are it's a genuine original Redditch one, and if I found it to be in good condition and it was my crank, I think it would be going back in. But anyway, let's get the flywheels apart next and see what we find in there.